I keep laughing to myself, remembering it was like the ninth or 10th grade, and there was this really big dude named Chops. I forget what his real name was. I want to say his actual name is Travis. And you know those like big brick shit houses of like dudes? You wonder, like, what were you like when you were a kid? And this kid, I knew him since the sixth grade when I moved to where I was. So for the 3 or 4 years we were in each other's lives, I only knew him as a brick shithouse. Not muscular, but he was so wide that, I mean, he could fuck up anybody. But he was actually very cool to me. I say that, but I instantly picture all of the fights that I saw him in. Like, he was the first time that I saw a kid get fucked up so bad that it made me reconsider fighting. I forget the dude's name who fought Chops that day. He was a skinny little dude like me, and he had glasses. And I mentioned the glasses because of the fact that he gets to fighting with Chops, and it was over pretty quickly. But he's on the ground, and Chops jumps up and stomps down on this kid's head. And I remember seeing his glasses break. And when I saw that, I was like, Jesus, that is not the kind of fight that I'm accustomed to. And so right then, I was like, I think my fighting days might be over. So fast forward to it's the ninth or 10th grade, and we're all at the lunch table. And of course, I'm at the black table. And Chops was black. I don't think I said that. Hopefully, the name implied it, but he was black. And we're having a fun little conversation. Chops fought a lot. And in this conversation, he starts talking about this dude, Victor. Victor owed him $3. I forget why. And he's like, man, Victor better give me my money. And we're talking to him, pleading with him. We're like, hey, man, you know, if you get in one more fight, they're going to expel you. Like, don't fight him. Like, talk to him about the money, fine. Don't fight him over $3. It's not worth it to get expelled. And he's so calm and cool. And he's like, I'm just going to talk to him. Relax. I know I'm not going to get expelled over $3. Chops walks over to Victor's table. Victor is sitting. And if you know the old lunch tables, it's like a bench that's connected to the table. So Victor's sitting, one leg out, one leg in, turned to his side, talking to Chops. It could not have been more than a minute worth of conversation. I looked away from them talking. I look back, and now Chops is stomping Victor, who is now inside, like going under the table, but he's still got like one leg that's kind of out, and Chops is just stomping him. We're all like, what the fuck are you doing? What happened? So that's just something that's been playing in my head this morning. Let's watch Cold Case Files. The I don't know, Hulu brought this to my attention, and I was like, okay, well, let's give it a shot. I think people might enjoy this. The first episode is called Little Girl Lost, episode 1 of season 1. Let's do a countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we know that it's going to start me off with a commercial. It always does. And apparently this is from A&E, so it's probably available there too. Oh no, Hulu's trying to be cute. The whole asking me what kind of ad experience I want, I don't get that. If you're going to ask me about ads, ask me if I'd like to watch one long one and then not see anymore. But don't ask me, like, that's like asking somebody how they want to be tortured. Hey, so I've got a bunch of tools on my table here. Which of these would you like me to stick in your urethra? I don't want to answer that. Just do it if you're going to do it. All right, so there's 120,000 unsolved murder cases in America. Only 1% of cold cases are ever solved. I believe that. And this is one of those rare cases, which means dude fucked up. Oh. Is it wrong? I'm sure it is. When I see a mom like this who's so unattractive, we haven't seen Shauna, the victim, but I'm just like, who took your ugly little girl from you? How dare they? That monster. Cop looks like he has a touch of Down syndrome. God, tell me she looked like her father. What kind of world do we live in where ugly women and ugly children can't walk the streets and feel safe? Monsters. I don't know, and I hope nothing bad ever happens to my son, but I'm gonna I'm gonna fictionalize a child for the sake of this comment. If I had another kid, which I can't, if they disappeared for 15 years, I know me. I know I feel like they're dead. I feel like they're dead once they're gone for like a year. Let's say for a year I can hold out hope. These people who are just like, I just need to know, like, you want receipts. Nobody's death is changing Halloween other than Michael Myers. Like, if he dies in the next Halloween film, Halloween is changed. Oh my God. All right, we're not here to bash a little girl, especially a dead one. Good Lord. That's how we're going into the weekend. Straight to hell. Is that her father? Jesus Christ, this story doesn't get any better no matter which way you scratch. How dare this animal take this little girl? It's a late meeting for the Girl Scouts. Can't we do this right after school? Okay, well, I'm sure you're beating yourself up. You forgot and then she died? Ugh. The time doesn't change in October. I feel like we fall back in like November or December. Her death has made him forget all rules of time and space. I mean, she was out there somewhere, just not where you were looking. Jesus Christ. Can they not blur her face? I know that she has no reason to want to be like anonymous, but she is a tough broad to look at. And nobody cared. which is kind of sad. Like, I'm a grown man. If a car pulls up and somebody grabs me and I scream, I want someone to be a hero. Hey, somebody's taking that 40-year-old man. I'm sure your wife cheats on you, or did. Hopefully, she's left you. Sorry, I have to speak on this because my coworker has got me so mad over $25. Like I was talking about Chops. That's probably why I'm thinking about Chops fucking that dude up over $3 because we have this birthday club at work and I'm running it even though my boss told me I probably shouldn't. I was like, "Oh, well, if people want to do it, then I'm for it, you know, human resources. We're not just here to fire you." And but I am not the one to owe the smallest amount of money to. I will hound you, and I hate it. I hate talking to people about money. I don't ever want to talk about money. And my coworker, my colleague, she is my partner. She knows me. Like people at work don't really get a taste of my personality. She knows, and she knows how I feel about talking about money. I've asked her this month to pay $25 to the birthday club, no less than 5 times. And she keeps ignoring it. And then this morning, she hit me with something about the weather. And I was like, "Can I ask you why you're ignoring me about this $25? You know I hate talking about money." And she just responds, "I didn't, I forgot." But she didn't pay. Don't respond. I would prefer you just paid and said nothing. Don't talk to me. Pay. Pay me. I hate talking about money. So, what I'm going to do on Monday when I go to work, I'm going to go to TD Bank. I open that account I told you guys. I'm going to get the $75 that she's already paid me, and I'm going to give it back to her and tell her it's not worth being angry about. Just don't be a part of the birthday club. Like, it's not mandatory. You don't have to do it. But I would rather not have anger towards you over money when we can just exist. And we're friends. But she's fucking all that up, and she should know that about me because I don't give a fuck about anything or anybody unless it's my wife or my kid, really. So everybody can be gone, especially if money's involved. I wish that she knew that about me. I thought she did. I thought she had a really good idea of who I am, a fucking high functioning sociopath. But apparently she thinks I'm a nice guy. I don't know why. Back to this gone little girl. God, her mother's hair. The hairstyle. Like, you don't love yourself. Who is cutting this? You remember what you were doing in October of 1992? I don't, but I do remember New Year's Eve of 93. I was a child at home because my mom was like out with her friend for New Year's Eve, and I remember watching MTV going into the new year, and apparently this girl was dead. Who grabbed somebody? I mean, I guess that's what these people do because I'm like, you grabbed her on the street and took her into the woods? I don't know. I had sex in the woods one time. I don't get it. But that goes for public sex in general. Like, I did all that stuff in my early 20s. I have no interest in that now. And I feel bad because I'm like, perhaps, and I think my wife would tell me if she wanted to do something like that, but I'm like, perhaps I'm depriving her of something, but none of that shit was my jam, man. You're outside. And some of the times I would have to like ditch a condom. And I just, when I look at condoms on the street, I'm like, ugh, who was fucking right here? Shame. How many different flavors of semen did they find? Jesus Christ, I can tell the future sometimes. Several deposits. He must have been saving it. And look at her father's facial hair. Ugh. That kid probably didn't even wipe her ass. taunting us. All jokes aside, it is sad that people get discarded like trash in situations like this. Like, if I think of something horrible happening to like my mom or something, and to think that somebody would just throw them out in some environment like this so they can't be found, I know, but it's like that was somebody. I wrote a screenplay. Maybe one day I'll share it because I sincerely doubt I'm going to sell it. Though I did, the director of Crank, I won't name drop, he read it and liked it. He's a friend. The whole thing was something horrible like this happens to a guy's mom. And it's basically the origin story of a supervillain. So he kind of becomes like the Joker at the end of it, but he's just devastated because somebody like rapes, kills his mom like with a bag over her head, and we get splices of that when he's being told how his mother died. And then he just snaps. But he wants to get his revenge. So at first he starts going around trying to be like a vigilante. Commercial break, by the way. Got a minute and 50 seconds. And he starts trying to be like a vigilante, but he's not really getting the results he wants. Plus, he's not trained like that, so not going his way. And he relocates, I want to say to Argentina or Chile. And that's when he tries to immerse himself in the underground. He becomes an assassin. He picks up a sidekick, and years go by. And then he finally picks up the trail of the person who actually killed his mom. And he comes back for horrible revenge. And I remember, and I know that they would have made me change the end, because when he finally gets this dude, before he gets super violent, he goes rapey, but he doesn't rape the guy. But the guy raped his mom and killed her. So he's like, oh, you're definitely going to get something. And he has this dude follow him. And just imagine a big brick shithouse of a man. And he's like, before I get to you, this dude's gonna fuck you. And yeah, I was really proud of that, actually. That was the first, I want to say, real project that I wrote out, because anybody can have an idea. I've got a ton of ideas and notes. But when you actually like sit down and you go, okay, if I do a page a day, I can be done with a decent screenplay. We're talking 95 to 120 pages. I can be done in like 4 months. But the thing is, when you actually sit down and start writing, you're probably going to bang out more than one page. But it's good to set that goal. But once you actually start doing it, which is the same for anything, once you start doing something and it's no longer just an idea, it feels so good. I mean, I would rather talk about the chase than the little girl's dead body. Can we get to how you caught him? That looks like him. Is he in his own reenactment? Part of me wants to go like, you seen dead bodies before? But then I keep remembering a kid was raped and killed. I'm like, all right, I guess that stays with you. And you forgot to pick her up. Now, is it possible, other than all the lumps and boils on her face, is it possible she let herself go from the guilt that she's partially responsible for what happened to her daughter? That's possible. I tell you what, though, if I was that husband, I mean, we're definitely getting divorced. I might have tried to kill her. Like, if you hadn't forgot to pick our fucking kid up, she'd be alive. And I know it takes a minute before you can place blame, but that's a fact. You forgot, and she got fucking killed on the day that you forgot to pick her up. Now you sit around all day eating tapioca. Because she looks like she loves tapioca. I'm sorry. She's so powerfully unattractive, I can't. And not if he's still out there raping and killing kids. Don't forget to pick your children up. No more Girl Scout meetings late at night. Can we do it at 6? Which is what I don't get. Don't people get it? If you hurt someone that you know, you're probably going to get caught. Because most people are hurt by someone they know. Gotta get a stranger. Strangers in the night. Two lonely people, we were strangers in the night. Until the moment that we said our first hello. Little did we know, love was just a glance away, a warm embracing dance away, and... Yeah, the word ejaculate will definitely make you stop singing. I just pictured him going around asking people, have you met a man who ejaculates a lot? What? No. If you'd met him, you'd know. This man is coming by the gallon. This car probably got some spillage from all that semen. So we're looking for a car with the back seat drenched. It probably had time to dry, but I know semen when I smell it. Ah, that's a good point. Oh, Bill, you discovered the body and you did it? Oh, okay, good. I'm like, you are a stupid motherfucker. Like, I don't understand. I wouldn't understand why this guy in Brooklyn who shot people on the train, but I don't understand why he called on himself. Did he think that he was going to get the $50,000 reward? I mean, once children start running from your touch, that's a problem. You should never want to touch a kid. There's a little girl in my office because her mom, I guess, has childcare issues. So they allow her to bring her daughter in after she's done with school. I never speak to this girl. I think I've spoken to her once. I said hello when she introduced her. And she's there damn near every day that I'm in the office. And I don't speak to her because I don't like kids and I don't like talking to kids. Part of me feels like it's rude and her mother is judging me and other people are probably judging me for refusing to speak to her kid. But I'm like, would it be better if I was going out of my way to speak to the kid? Then I'd be a creep. I feel like it's better to have a guy not want to interact with a child at all. Another commercial break for 1 minute and 26 seconds. Is it weird that watching this kid get killed? I just have this song Sunshine by Lotto stuck in my head. It's spelled Latto. That song is, it stays with you. Sunshine on me. Oh shit, it's Friday. I forgot new music comes out today. I have no idea. That's part of my Friday routine. Opening Spotify, going to new releases, and being disappointed that nothing is out. Lizzo put out a new song. I've been over Lizzo. I liked Lizzo when she first came out. Like her first couple of singles, loved them. Then she got on her fat girl, whatever, and I Love Myself and all that, showing her big ass. That's when she lost me, and I will not listen to her music anymore. Go away. Like they just gave her a show on Amazon Prime, and I'm like, who wants to look at that? No. Canceled. Jesus Christ, nothing came out. Okay, but Spotify does this weird thing where sometimes they don't show the new releases that I care about. So then I go to Release Radar because they know what I actually like. New song by Gucci Mane, hooray. New song called Back to the Block featuring Currency. So I will listen to that. I love the fact that Russ puts out a new song every fucking week. I love it. Slowly becoming one of my favorites. Action Bronson released a really good song last week. Let that be known. Yeah, not really a whole lot. When the fuck is Kendrick Lamar dropping his new album? Jesus. It's been like 4 years, and he's been talking about this new album for a good year now. And I'm like, are you ever going to give it? This is another way that people lose me as a fan. If you take too long. Chris Tucker. I was a big Chris Tucker fan, and when he refused to do more Fridays, and he was on that thing where the only thing he was doing was Rush Hour movies, he lost me. Whose semen is this? Come to find out it was a cop. That's why we didn't have his semen on file. Anybody who drenches a kid in this much semen has to do it again. Oil City. That sounds like a kind of place where a black person doesn't belong. There we go. But he had butterfingers. Oh. I mean, if he beat her up, how the hell did she get away? Oh. Well, why the fuck didn't you look up the O'Briens earlier? Every cop knows them. They're sexually violent. And apparently dump semen by the loads. Guy just likes this street, I guess. many times. Yet kept putting these sexually violent men back out on the street. I don't get it, man. If you like kids, why aren't you just drawing a picture, jacking off to it, and then eating the picture? We live in a society. Yeah, when's the last time you looked up what creeps are around you? I haven't done it in a minute, but it's always nice to recognize faces from the grocery store. I hope they gave that animal life, because if your daughter looked like you and they haven't shown a picture of her in a minute, he should never see the light of day again. Yeah, that mask will give anybody nightmares. What are you? I'm a rapey pirate. Oh, okay. Cross the street, children. It does conceal a lot of things. I mean, it was fair, but it also sounds like a small town. What the fuck do you all want? Like, can I tell one of you and then they'll tell everybody else? Clearly, I don't know who did this. I'm surprised that this dude hasn't told us A, that he has Down syndrome, and two, that he has children. That seems like what every cop wants to say when things go bad and nobody's getting answers. Look, I got kids, just like you, and I want them safe. Give me another 5 years to bang this out. We will catch this monster. He's probably pooling all of his semen together for the next rape because I'm telling you, this girl's gym suit was soaked. Oh, another commercial break. A minute and 3 seconds. I've never seen so much semen. I had to take a shower after I had handled that thing because it ran down my arm. Just, I really want you to visualize that because I pictured my friend Mike back when we used to go to wing night. He would have a sauce hand because, buffalo wings, and he would always dip in the ranch, and all of it would just start running down the hand. But until he was done eating, he refused to clean the hand. So it would just run down his forearm to his elbow. It was the sauce hand, as we called it. '97. All right now. I was in high school by the time this girl. I just started high school, but I bet you still looked like that, didn't you? You've always been a weirdo. I mean, maybe it's the fog, but this looks like the kind of town where kids go missing. If you were around the scene at the time of the incident, aren't you a suspect? Oh, I was there. Yeah, I saw it. What happened? I don't know. I was looking away. Wasn't my business. And I remember he had these really wide fingers. Pull yourself together, man. Yeah, I'm good. I don't ever need to hear that scream. Yeah, I think you can go ahead and treat him like an adult, though. He's just another rogue pedophile. Don't worry, we'll catch your pedophile. All that litter. Why are kids coming out to drink soda at the creek? And that's when I started growing this weird mullet. And at least they found their daughter. They just want to know who did it. You know, that dude was smart. He got the fuck out of the. Like, the people who commit these things and don't leave the state or something, let alone the country. What are you doing? There's something that I missed. Oh, he stomped her? I can't wait to see who they caught that did this. It was a woman? Probably somebody affiliated with the Girl Scouts. They make delicious cookies, but they're evil people. Ah, maybe the 12-year-old was one of them. He got that idea from somewhere. And he did it on the same fucking, like, street in the same area. Commercial break for 1 minute and 28 seconds. But he probably was sitting in there like, whew, I'm only getting charged with one, but I've been active for a minute. The progressive commercials. Matter of fact, I don't even know if it's progressive, but the dude trying to teach people how to not become their parents, yeah, it is progressive. By far, my favorite commercials that are currently on television and have been since his very first commercial. I love almost all of them. I remember when Toyota's cars used to be beautiful to me. They just aren't on the outside anymore. I think inside, I love what they've done with like the paneling and all, but back in like the late 90s, I used to think that they were so gorgeous. I loved how the Corolla looked. I've always been a fan of like Hondas, probably because my mom surprised me one day and came home with like a brand new Accord, and I was like, ooh. She used to pick me up in this hoopty, which would later become mine, and I hated that car. But it was a stick, and I learned how to drive stick. What I had to do now was find my way into the pedophile circles and find out who ejaculates a lot. You don't mention that amount of semen without coming back to it. Ah. I believe Ted Walker's the one that the children would run away from. Jesus Christ. Guy likes kids, doesn't have any. He's fucking them. Little did he know, semen doesn't burn. It just dries. Nothing to hide. Ask away. You ever had sex with a little girl? I don't want to do this today. Can we do this tomorrow? Ah, working with the two brothers, were you? And I said, oh yeah, what'd she look like? What did her ass look like? Did she have the yams? Yeah, John McClane, you knew what you were supposed to be your whole life. Well, once Die Hard came out. Yeah, it's crazy. They clearly would have the motive and everything, and they got away with it for that long. I'd like to hear a story about how they were raised. What parents made two kids that sexually assault people? And he spit in my face, and I got my DNA. As you know, once you throw something away, they can take it. And of course, another ad, a minute and 28 seconds. I swear at some point I paid Hulu not to be commercial free, but I paid them to have like less commercials. But I get so many 90-second commercial breaks. Bastards. I can't wait. I hope that Disney Plus like sucks in Hulu. I don't know if it'll be possible because other people do have some stake in Hulu. But I've noticed that like now that Disney Plus has adult stuff, they put Tom Brady's doc from ESPN Plus on there. I see what they're doing, and I think that Disney Plus is going to get a lot closer to looking like Netflix. But to do that, they need pretty much all of the Hulu content that Disney owns. Sadly, I have a song from a prescription pharmaceutical commercial stuck in my head. Nothing means everything. I believe it's a Trivago commercial. Nothing means everything. Whoever has to do marketing for pharmaceutical companies, they must be getting all the money. 10 years. Oof, by this point, I'm at VSU in Pittsburgh, Petersburg, Virginia. Yikes. And once one's caught, you know what they do. All the dominoes start falling. All right, I killed that little girl, but so did my friend, and so did my brother. But do we know what role he played? Oh, maybe he's the one who took her, and then the other two did the horrible things. She wasn't wearing a Girl Scout uniform. Mm. Well, enjoy rape in prison. I'm sorry. Why would you kidnap this little girl, seemingly not rape her or anything, but hand her over to these two? Did they threaten you, or you just enjoyed them getting off? Maybe. I mean, I still don't understand, but since he's the only one who talked, I guess he wouldn't say I raped her too, because I'm like, why would you take part in this? Well, she definitely saw my face and my crooked penis, so she can't live. That's what you get. That's what I'm talking about. Have penis for every meal. Yeah, a normal life. Nobody's life is normal. Yeah, you get to hear all the disgusting details of your daughter's final moments on this planet. You want to take another look at the two thugs who had sex with your little girl before they killed her? They, like you, ma'am, are powerfully unattractive. Not anymore. Now, go get a makeover and start treating yourself like somebody who's not grieving. Sheesh. Well, that wasn't horrible. Not quite what I thought that the episode was going to be. But what did you guys think? Did you enjoy the show? Always pleasant hearing about young girls being hurt. But SVU has been on for years behind that same logic, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. All right, guys. Have a good weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Peaces.